something less intense. You got me like we don't fuck like we used to do. And when we talk, you make it all about you. And all the things that you'd like to change about me. Be easier if I ever heard you say sorry. You ask permission and I let you. Like if I never even met you. Think that I've seen this show before. Know that I never could regret you. And then you act like I'm a stranger. Maybe I guess I like it too much. Too many times you've been stuck in my head, freezing you out and then you're back in my bed. Say that we're done, but you need me here. I know that you still bring me. So many times I thought things that you said, that things you out, or you were giving me head. Say that we're done, but you need me here. I know that you still bring me. And I guess that it makes me crazy. And I'm alone, my whole life seems hazy. One minute I let go, next I'm calling to you. Always hope I can change your mind. Always hope I'm not out of line. I'll go with wrong, just as far I can take this loneliness. You ask permission and I let you. Like if I never even met you. Think that I've seen this show before.
Też bez basu.
defensive, and that's when we crashed through the wall. You should